Your cat reacts to you before anything obvious changes, and those reactions begin long before you notice something feels different. At first, nothing stands out because your cat still stays in the same spaces. But the way they exist in those spaces starts to shift in small, repeatable ways. When you enter a room, your cat doesn't immediately leave. They adjust their position slightly, creating space before any interaction even begins. That adjustment becomes consistent over time because your cat starts managing your presence instead of simply responding to it. You might notice their tail first without realizing why it feels different. It holds a steady position that looks controlled, as if it's tracking you rather than expressing comfort. When that tail stays low or fixed in place, your cat is maintaining awareness. That awareness replaces relaxation when they're unsure how to interpret your movement. And this is where the first shift settles in. Your cat begins choosing control over comfort in subtle ways. Their body follows this pattern even when they appear calm. Muscles remain slightly engaged, as if movement is always an option they're keeping open. A cat that feels safe allows their body to fully release into the surface beneath them. But when that release doesn't happen around you, something is keeping their attention active. That attention becomes more visible during rest, because rest requires your cat to stop monitoring their surroundings. When your cat lies down but keeps their posture slightly held, they are staying prepared. Their body reflects awareness instead of complete ease. At that point, something begins to change in how they observe you. They stop relying on interaction and start relying on patterns. Your cat starts watching what you do more closely than how you engage with them. They focus on your movement, your timing, and how you approach them. Their ears begin to track those patterns with precision. They rotate subtly, following your movement even before you get close. When those ears angle backward or flatten slightly as you move in, your cat is adjusting their awareness. That adjustment happens before any visible reaction, like stepping away. If you reach toward them during that moment, your movement enters a space they haven't opened, and their response becomes quicker, more controlled, and less flexible. Have you ever noticed how your cat pauses just before you touch them? That pause reflects a decision about whether to stay or create distance. When that decision leans toward distance repeatedly, your cat begins choosing their position more carefully. They start placing themselves where interaction becomes optional. They settle in areas where they can see you clearly without being easily reached. Those positions give them control over when and how contact happens. Over time, those positions become their default. Your cat begins existing around you in a way that prioritizes distance without fully leaving. And this is usually the moment people overlook, because nothing feels dramatic, even though everything has slightly shifted. Eye contact begins to carry more meaning in these moments. Your cat's gaze becomes more focused, lasting longer than it used to. When they hold that gaze without softening, their attention becomes analytical. They are observing your movement rather than sharing the moment with you. That stillness in their eyes pairs with a body that remains ready. Their posture stays controlled even when they appear relaxed. At that point, something slightly different happens. Your cat begins anticipating what you're going to do next. If you move, they respond before you reach them. If you shift closer, they adjust their distance almost immediately. That anticipation forms through repeated experiences. And once it settles in, it becomes automatic. Your cat no longer waits to see what you'll do. They prepare for it before it happens. If you're starting to notice these patterns, stay with this a little longer, because the next part connects behaviors that usually seem unrelated. Hiding begins to appear more consistently within this pattern, not as a sudden reaction, but as a preferred way of maintaining control. Your cat chooses spaces that allow them to remain aware without being easily approached. They stay close enough to observe, but far enough to avoid interaction. Those positions feel stable because they reduce unpredictability, and your cat returns to them more often when you're present. If you try to bring them out, their response becomes more deliberate. They hesitate, reposition, or move further away instead of engaging. That response reflects a shift in how they experience your presence. They prioritize control over closeness. At the same time, physical interaction begins to change. Your cat stops initiating contact the way they once did. They no longer approach you for attention or settle near you without hesitation. Instead, they remain neutral, allowing interaction only when it feels manageable. When you reach out, their body often becomes still for a moment. That stillness reflects restraint, as if they're deciding how to respond. If that pattern continues, their responses become more direct. They begin using clearer signals to maintain space. A quick bite or sudden swipe can appear in these moments. Those actions are controlled and precise, designed to restore distance. They follow repeated signals that have built over time. And once they appear, they tend to happen again under similar conditions. Have you ever noticed how your cat behaves differently with other people? That contrast reveals how their expectations shift depending on who they're around. They may approach others more easily or remain near them longer. Their behavior becomes more open when their experience feels predictable. That difference highlights something important. Your cat is responding to patterns, not just moments. When those patterns feel uncertain, your cat increases their awareness. They rely more on observation than interaction. As this continues, your presence begins triggering adjustments before anything happens. Your cat prepares for interaction instead of simply reacting to it. They move slightly earlier, watch more closely, and position themselves more intentionally. Each of these actions reflects a shift toward maintaining space. Vocal responses begin to emerge more clearly as well. Sounds like hissing or low tones appear when their space feels reduced too quickly. Those sounds are precise and timed carefully. They appear exactly when your cat needs to create distance without moving. If they appear consistently, your cat is communicating a pattern, and patterns are where their behavior becomes clear. Play behavior also begins to change. Your cat may show less interest in interacting through movement or toys. They no longer engage with the same energy, even when everything else remains the same. Their focus shifts away from shared activity and towards independent awareness. This is usually the moment people overlook, because it feels gradual rather than obvious. But gradual changes tend to be the most reliable indicators. They reflect patterns that have settled over time. Your cat isn't reacting to what you're doing anymore. They're responding to what they expect you to do next. That expectation changes everything about how they behave around you. It shapes their position, their timing, and their level of engagement. They begin managing your presence instead of moving toward it. And that shift shows up in small ways across everything they do. Your scent can begin to play a role in this pattern as well. Your cat interacts with objects differently once your presence becomes part of their environment. They may choose certain areas more carefully or avoid others entirely. Those choices reflect how they're organizing space based on experience. At the same time, your cat's tolerance for interaction becomes shorter. Moments that used to last begin ending more quickly. They step away sooner, reposition faster, and reduce how long they stay engaged. Each of these changes follows the same underlying structure. If you look closely, your cat is not acting randomly. They are following a consistent way of responding to you. And once that consistency forms, it becomes predictable. It shows up before you even begin interacting. The version of your cat you interact with during the day only shows part of this, because interaction can hide what's happening underneath. But when you observe how they position themselves, how they respond, and how they adjust, the pattern becomes clear. Their behavior starts to feel structured instead of confusing. Once you begin to see these patterns, everything starts to connect. Each small action reflects the same underlying shift. Your cat isn't trying to create distance suddenly. They are maintaining it gradually in ways that repeat over time. And when you understand that, their behavior stops feeling unpredictable. It becomes something you can recognize before it fully happens. The version of your cat you interact with during the day only shows part of this, because interaction can hide what's happening underneath. But the version shaped by repeated patterns tends to be more consistent. And if you want to understand how to shift these patterns and rebuild that connection, the next video walks through